Vice Admiral Dascader Allard has seized a rare opportunity to blockade the British. With his third-rate ship of the line La Fortune and escorting frigates
Veinard and Superiorite,
he has anchored just out of battery shore range and awaits the arrival of the brigs
Colibri and Euryale.
Unbeknownst to him, the British commander has decided to take advantage of a favourable wind change and sail for freedom. As dawn breaks, the wind shifts offshore, and we see the French brigs on their way to rendezvous with their larger anchored counterparts. The British flotilla is packed in a tight formation looking to punch their way free. Turn 1. The British boats begin their mad dash for freedom, looking to dive behind the anchored French ships. Turn 2. The Colossus leads the charge to flank the French ships, as the French flagship Fortune is slow to react. The frigate Superiorite opens fire in a vain attempt to dissuade the heavier British ship. Turn 3. The Indefatigable fires its bow chasers at the Superiorite. As the Colossus continues its flanking maneuver, breaking formation, the Niad makes its way towards the French, hoping to draw their attention and relying on its superior speed to survive. The Superiorite continues to pour damage upon the Colossus. As the other French boats slowly start to react to the British plan. Turn 4. The Mars broadsides the Fortune, as Indefatigable unleashes from close range upon the Superiorite. And the Colossus continues its run for freedom. Taking advantage of the slow French response, the Niad dashes across the bow of La Fortune, sending raking fire throughout the ship. The first French ship to fire Superiorite now turns its guns to bear upon the Indefatigable, shearing one of her masts off. Finishing off the action for the turn, the Veinard fires upon the Colossus, who is starting to show the effects of the French cannon. And those brigs begin to make their way towards the action. Turn 5. The turn begins with the Mars firing upon the Superiorite, sending the crew into a kerfuffle, and the Colossus finally has the angle to return damage to the Veinard, ripping apart its sails and sending the quarterdeck into disarray. The Indefatigable unleashes a vicious point-blank bow rake into the Superiorite. Somehow the brig Colibri took a hit to its quarterdeck. Turns out the Niad has fired both its broadsides. The Superiorite and Indefatigable have become entangled, beginning a vicious melee across the Indefatigable's deck. La Fortune starts making its way forward. Veinard fires into the Mars, but struggles due to the damage she has already taken. The tiny brig Euryale dashes past the Niad. Turn 6. La Superiorite and Indefatigable continue their melee with the French running rampant through the decks. The Mars delivers point-blank pain to the Veinard. As the Colossus disappears from view on the edge of the battle, swinging on its anchors, the Veinard returns fire into the Mars. The Niad takes a long-range pot shot at the Veinard. The Brigs continue their run to intercept the large British ships. Turn 7. The Indefatigable has struck her colours, allowing the Superiorite to cut herself free. La Fortune unleashes a symphony of destruction on the Niad, setting her ablaze and sending her crew into shock. As the Mars makes its way to freedom, it fires upon the approaching Brig Euryale. The Veinard attempts to ram the Mars, but is hit accidentally by the Euryale. The Niad, whilst still on fire, get dangerously close to the Colibri, and the ships become entangled. Spreading the flames, the Niad crew decide to quit the battle and focus on saving the ship. Turn 8. La Superiorite spots a returning Colossus and sends cannon shells through her bow, damaging her sails and making flight just that little bit more difficult. For her part, the Colossus sails past the stern of the Veinard and sends her to the bottom of the ocean. La Fortune looks on in vain, unable to get a clear shot at the fleeing British. The Mars, with open ocean beckoning, takes her time to give the Superiorite a final broadside. Not to be outdone, the brave crew of the Colibri seek to block the Mars and give her a bow rake to boot. Turn 9. In this penultimate turn, we begin with the Colossus taking a hard turn around the floating Brig Euryale and unleashing a broadside into the still fighting Superiorite. Who for her part attempts to cut off the Colossus and unleashes a devastating bow rake, only for the Mars to return the favour as she makes her way out to sea. Sinking La Superiorite. Sensing this is their last chance, and that the Colossus is on her last legs, La Fortune fires a hopeful broadside. Turn 10. A hard day's fighting has all come down to this. The Colossus, severely damaged with minimal crew remaining, must decide whether to risk fighting or strike her colours. The captain, a prudent and prideful man, nonetheless decides enough is enough, and the colours are struck and anchors dropped.